All praises to the Most High God. I'm going to try to stay on topic this time. Uh, so much to talk about that's oftentimes, it's easy to get off track. So I'm going to start with saying all praises to the Father of lights, the Most High God, the God of truth, the God of justice, the God of sustainability, the God of mercy and grace. All praises to Him. All praises to Yah, Jehovah. So, I pray that everyone is doing great out there. God is consistently giving His daughters blessings. He is consistently blessing us. He is consistently renewing us, renewing our strength, renewing our health. In these last days, and a lot of people talk about the last days, but it's been the last days for quite some time. It was the last days when Jesus was crucified. Jesus had told us that we were in the last days then, when He came, and He warned us that we were in the last days, and that was more than 2,000 years ago. So in spite of everything we see, we see all of the corruption that's going on in the world. We see the famines. We see the earthquakes in diverse places. We see the wars and rumors of wars. We see everything that is causing a lot of disheartening to people. The Bible tells us in the last days people's hearts will wax cold because of all the wickedness. And you see that. You see so many people who have just checked out of life, in some way. Many people are making a decision that, they don't want to socialize anymore. They don't want to get too close to people, or they don't want to open up to people and things like that. And some of those things are good. They're good to do. You have to be guarded to a certain extent. You can't be too trusting. And that's understandable, But what we do understand is that God tells us, to make peace with people. God tells us to walk in holiness. And He tells us that if we do these things, then He will sustain us. And He will continue to, we will receive His salvation, basically. So today I'm going to discuss today in this teaching, or I'm going to talk about I want to talk about Genesis chapter 1 verse 27. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God He created him, male and female He created them. I want to talk about Psalm 139 verse 13 through 16. For you formed my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, my soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. Psalm 139 verse 14. Or, for I am fearfully set apart. Okay. So, we know the Lord also says in Psalm 139 verse 14 that we are fearfully and wonderfully made in His image, right? We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Let me restate it. I don't want to misquote. It says, Psalm 139 verse 14, it says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Okay? And we know that we are made in God's image. Okay? So there's a lot of discrepancy about what that means. What does it mean to be made in God's image? So one of the things I want you to think about, I want you to say, for example, if you went to your parents or your mother or your dad and you asked them, you know, you want them to answer honestly. Like if you could imagine what your daughter would be like, what would you imagine your daughter would be like? Now, we're hopefully they'll give us an honest answer, right? Or hopefully we'll hear what we want to hear, right? But in most cases, if they were honest, they probably would change a few things about us, right? You know, they may even change the way they may have. Some parents will say, you know, they'll tell you, you know, I wanted a boy, but I had a girl. Or I wanted a girl, but I had a boy. Or, you know, they may have wanted you to, you know, major in a different profession. You know, they may have wanted someone to do something different professionally. Or they may, you know, have preferred that you were more calmer, or you were more outgoing or outspoken, whatever it is. You know, your parent may have an image of how they would have liked you to be. You know, if you go to your friend, your best friend, you know, you may see me say, hey, you know, what was your image of your best friend? You know, before I came along, how would you have imagined your best friend to be? And they may say to you, well, I imagine my best friend to be just like me, you know, a person who likes to do the things that I like to do, or a person who is more reserved or more funner, or whatever the thing is. And you may be the complete opposite of that, right? But you're still their best friend. But yet they had an image of how they would like their best friend to be, right? Even some of you go to your husbands and you ask them, what would you have imagined your wife to be like, right? And if they're honest, which most of them probably won't be, but if they're honest about it, they'll probably disguise someone completely different from you, you know, but yet they married you. So we all have our image of how we would like someone else to be, right? And so God himself has an image of us, of how he imagined us to be, how he created us to be. This is his idea for us, of how he would have us to look and how he would have us to be. His image of us. Not our parents' image, not our best friend's image, not our husband's image, but his image of us. He created this image that he have of us. This is how I would like this person to be. This is how I created them to, not that he liked us to be, but he created us to be. He created us to be holy. He created us to be righteous. He created us to be the way we are, with emotions. So we are beautifully and wonderfully made in God's image. This is the image that God had for us. But are we walking in the image that God had for us? That he created us to be? Or did we stray away from that image? See, one of the things that the enemy, our adversary, the devil, did when he made contact with God's creation, man, is he proceeded to go about distorting God's image, because God's image is something that he doesn't like to see. He hates God's image. So if you read in the Bible, it talks to you about how the enemy, went about teaching women and men things. He taught them how to apply makeup. He taught them how to work roots. He taught them how to fashion weapons, because he was trying to create human beings in his image. And his image is destruction. So you see many people that are walking around, that are walking in the enemy's image. They're not walking in God's image. God's image is holiness, righteousness, peace, love. But you see people that are walking around, they're hateful, they're envious, they're liars, they're thieves. That is the image of the enemy. That's the image of the beast. That's not God's image. So when God says that you're beautifully and wonderfully made in his image, he made you to be in his image. He made you to be in his image. Holy, righteous, and full of love. Making peace with people. Honest. So I guess we have to ask ourselves as women, are we walking in God's image, or are we walking in the image of the beast? Are we putting on Jezebel's image? God has even told me, I backslided a little bit. And I went out for Mother's Day, and I knew I shouldn't have worn what I wore. It wasn't, by all intents and purposes, according to the world, it was nothing. My family member actually told me I looked like I was going to church, but I told her I would never go to church with that dress on because I had some cleavage showing, and I shouldn't have had it out. Really, I shouldn't have. I knew better. And God quietly and humble and told me, no, that's not my image. And God is not compromising with his image. So there are many, many women out here who are saying that they are Christians and they are women, daughters of God, and they're walking around in the beast's image. And you're only fooling yourself. You're not fooling God. You're not fooling the enemy. Definitely. And God wants us walking in his image. Not just physically, but also what we say, what we think, what we do. Don't wait till you have to stand before the Lord to know that you was not walking in his image. You as a child of God, as a daughter of the Most High, you should not be advertising the image of the beast. Because people are watching us. They're watching what we do. They're watching what we say. The enemy is always watching us. But more importantly, people who are who are seeking God are watching us. And when we compromise, we make people feel like they can compromise as well. Or we don't want to make God look like a hypocrite. We have enough Christians out here who are making the body of Christ look hypocritical. This is why I say to you that you don't follow people, you follow Jesus. Because if you follow people, you will always be disappointed. Stop getting disappointed when people let you down. We all fall short of God's glory. People will let you down forever. God won't. God is the same today, yesterday, and forever. So, daughters of the Most High, are we walking in God's image every day? Whether we are out on the town or whether we're just out, we can't compromise those things. I know it's hard. It is. It's hard with this secular world. Everyone wants to feel beautiful. Everyone wants to fit in. But God has called us to be separate. And that's how He identifies His people. By those who are walking in His image. Again, not just with what we wear, but also our what we say and what we do. Because the enemy can use anything to accuse us to the Lord, to gain access to us. So I just want to leave you with that. Stay prayed up, stay blessed, stay focused, and follow Jesus. Follow Jesus. Not your pastor. Not a prophet or a prophetess. Self-proclaimed or not. Follow Jesus. Alright guys, take care.